Welcome to Something to Talk About.
Hi, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here to give you a little update on this jousting tournament I'm doing on my poll. So if you don't know what's going on, my name is Taco. I run the Song West and Fire lore channel, and I do tournaments sometimes, and I'm doing a little itty bitty jousting one. And yeah, you clicked on this thumbnail. This is the update for round one, and this is what the tournament looks like. So I'm going to go over every match, see who won in the polls, and read some comments. I didn't get as much comments as I do in my big one, which makes sense. I didn't think that this tournament would be as successful as my really huge tournaments for obvious reasons. This is just a small little fun one. So yeah, so let's get into it. Our round one was very round one-y. I tried not to waste any really amazing matches in round one. I did try to have a higher seed, if you will, to a lower seed for each of them. And it pretty much went down that path. I wouldn't consider any upsets this first round, which is fine. Me being an underdog lover and like, man, it would be cool if Humphrey Harding made a run. You know, like, I'm a little, there we go. I'm a little disappointed on it, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah, so first match was Sandor the Hound Clegane versus Ryan Redwine, and then we had Barristan the Bold versus Baylor Breakspear, Humphrey Harding versus Loras Tyrell, Arthur Dane versus the Knight of the Laughing Tree, Kristen Cole versus Simon Dondarrion, Clements Crab versus Jaime Lannister, Denny Smallister versus Rhaegar Targaryen, and Jorah Mormont versus Aemon the Dragon Knight. And that's it. Let's work our way through them. So Sandor versus Ryan went. I mean, I wouldn't say it was a stomp by any means. Ryan Redwine won 62% to 38. And now that I have the very loose rules up here, I can just read off the same thing I sent to everybody. So set on every single poll. So this is a theoretical jousting match. It's jousting on even ground with usual arms and armor and horse. No cheating allowed in the tourney. And tourney lances. So I specifically said no cheating. So when we get to Laura, somebody's like, "Oh, I bet he's just gonna do what he did." No, I don't want to allow that cheating, right? And tourney lances. With who wins a joust? Who win a joust? Wow, I had a typo on every one of these. Between these characters, it's all based on the Song of West and Fire book lore. I actually think I fixed the typos. Nope. All right, cool. So first one, I forgot my name, said Sandor has a big horse, and that's what it's about. Ryan is the Jordan of jousting. Oh, he's dismissing Sandor as he has a big horse, and that's just about it. And Ryan is the Jordan of jousting. Easy dub for the old lad from the Reach. And then Bob Roberts said Ryan was amazing, but don't forget the Hound beat Jaime at the Hands tournament, which a lot of people didn't bring up. And then the Universe Finest said on foot, I think the Hound's got Ryan's number, but on horses definitely goes to the Lord Commander, which is Ryan Redwine. Irish Potato Thieves said, in the game of Gallop Pointy Stick, few can match the skills of the one true Lord Commander. Go Ginger Go, because Ryan Redwine's most likely a Ginger. And Hawk McBride said, I can't believe I gotta vote against my boy Sandor round one, but Ryan is just a jousting legend. So yeah, I mean, I thought that Sandor would do a little better because he did win the hands tourney. Well, he didn't win it by beating Loras. Loras gave it to him, but he beat Jaime Lannister to get there and a few other decent names. Not really, but yeah, like that's the biggest. So I thought that would get him a little higher up, but it's Ryan Redwine. So at least it wasn't a stop, right? It wasn't a Tucker. So moving on to the next one, we had Barristan the Bold versus Baylor Breakspear. And this was, 69 to 31 against Baylor Breakspear, which was kind of a bit of a surprise. So Baylor's biggest win was over his bastard uncle, Daemon Blackfire, his legitimized bastard uncle, Daemon Blackfire. But a lot of people think that was just because his dad decided it was down to a decide, and then Darren the Good's like, no, Baylor. So it's not like a legitimate win, which is something I never really thought about. So no, that's actually a good point. So yeah, let's look at comments here. Bearson doesn't have the best track records against Targaryen princes because he loses to Rhaegar a lot in jousting. Baelor breaks spear. Oh, hey. Whoa. Just commented me. And then I forgot my name said, Baelor is not Barry's prince, so I don't think him throwing the fight. I don't think he's throwing the fight, but he still loses. Okay, cool. So let's find out why. So a lot of people are like, oh, Barrison's not going to harm a Targaryen. I don't think that applies here. Well, being well-regarded with a lance, he lost joust before and is known for his battlefield performance over his jousting. Baelor was a people's champ. He's like The Rock. He gave people the people's elbow, the people's joust, the people's lance, and would have required skill in jousting to garner such fame. He bears many similarities to Rhaegar, one of the only few men mentioned to unhorse Barry. Additionally, he gained the moniker for defeating Daemon the Warrior Blackfire while breaking several lances on another, and I'd say he takes 6 out of 10. So let's find where somebody points out. I don't know if anyone actually points that out, but I guess. Oh, I need to get my. There you go. I was only having ones I didn't respond to. I'm not going to look for much longer. By trial, okay, so Carlos Otero said, in the trial of 7, I understand that the King's Guard are not going to harm the princes with real weapons, but in a normal tourney, I see Selmy throwing his pride for safety concerns with minimal chances of a fatal outcome going with. Yeah, this person's saying, like, I don't think he's going to throw the fight. Yeah. I think that's good. So Barry the Bold moves on. Like I said, it goes pretty what you would think. So Humphrey Harding lost to Loras Tyrell, 22 to Loras' 78. This is the best victory yet. And yeah, Loras just destroyed Humphrey. And that made me a little sad because I wanted Humphrey to make a run. But yeah, we do know that he was a tourney champion at least once. We don't know who he beat to become a tourney champion. And then he was doing so good at the Ashford tourney, even with a broken leg. He was still strapping himself on the horse, which is badass. Right away, let's find out your name. Sky Eskew. Said Book Loras would kick his booty. He didn't say booty, or they didn't say booty. And then Melikor Darkfell. All right, nice name. Said, I reread the Hedge Knight recently, but I'm not sure Humphrey really comes across as a wowing in the joust. Props for riding with a broken leg, though. I mean, it depends on how you interpret it. I always thought that he did, but I guess that's how you interpret the joust. So yeah. Kevin Nutzling said, I give it to Loras. Dirty tricks or not, he's still a great jouster. And then Huck McBride said, wow, this would be quite a spectacle to watch. I'm giving my vote to the Knight of Flowers, although I can see why somebody would choose Humphrey. Garland is a better sword than me in truth, though I am a better lance. That's a quote from Loras. All right, cool. Moving on. We don't have to spend too long on these. So Arthur Dane versus the Knight of the Laughing Tree. This is the best win yet. There is one Tucker just barely later. But yeah, this one we got Arthur Dane destroy Knight of the Laughing Tree, and I knew that was going to happen. I just thought it would be really fun to have Knight of the Laughing Tree in there. And there was a comment somewhere in here. I'm not sure. I think it actually got flagged, but yeah, somebody commented like, this is a horrible matchup, like, duh. And it's like, yeah, I know it's round 1. Like, I understand if people look at things and it's rather one-sided, but it's because I kind of have to now, from lessons I learned from last tourney, save some of the better matchups for round 2 and round 3 and not just go Bears and Selmy versus Jaime Lannister right away, because that pissed a lot of people off. So yeah, you're right. Arthur Dane would very handedly beat Knight of the Laughing Tree. You don't have to be rude about it, but yeah. And apparently you said something else that the algorithm didn't like because it pulled it. I didn't pull it. It pulled it. I believe so. So yeah, back to Melikor Darkfall. No Don on the head of that lance. They doesn't get that. Sir, it's late enough. I can say your name, Sir Balls Deep of House Manthrust. I can say your name now. We know how good. Do we know anything about how good of a jouster Dane was? I don't recall people saying he was an incredible jouster. He won a couple tourneys. He did really good. It was often during that time, like Rhaegar, Barristan, and Arthur were at the top of every list, and then one of the three won pretty much. I believe he beat Rhaegar at least once, and then Rhaegar got him on the rubber matches. Pretty sure. Rogue Prince said, as far as knights go, I'm taking Arthur Dane over anyone else. I even named my first D&D character Dane. Well, there you go. Yeah. And then, yeah, Hawk McBride said, why do I get the feeling we know exactly who's going to win this tourney? And then I commented, say it isn't so. Yeah, I don't want another Dane win. Arthur Dane doesn't deserve to just automatically win the jousting tourney. He doesn't. There's some really good jousters in here that would beat Dane, have beaten Dane. He's lost to at least one, if not two people on this. So, yeah, I just don't have the numbers in front of me. But I know he at least has lost to Rhaegar, if not also from Barristan. But, yeah, I'm just saying. I don't think that's an automatic win for him. And there's just better ones from history in here as well. Let's move on. Kristen Kingmaker Cole versus Simon Dondarrion. This one made me a little sad. I actually really like Simon Dondarrion. But I do get that if you're not a known name, it's not going to get you very far. People do actually, believe it or not, have to know who the character is in order to vote for them. I'm going to make sure I'm not getting anything wrong. I believe Simon won at the tourney at the opening of the Dragon Pit. Did I say Dondarrion? Yeah, it's Dondarrion. I'm looking it up really quick. But I'm not spelling right. All right. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I'm sure you didn't want to just see me look things up really quick. So, yeah, Simon Dondarrion did win at the tourney at the completion of the Dragon Pit in 55 AC, and then later was defeated at the tourney celebrating the 10th year of Jerry's King Jaehaerys's, I call him Jerry, King Jaehaerys's coronation in 58, and that was against Rhyme Redwine, who's also in here. So I would put him up there as a really good jouster. I do think Kristen Cole winning isn't a big. I think that it should be a little closer. Kristen Cole is a lot more known for how great of a fighter he is, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't a good jouster. He was a good jouster. But yeah. So Christopher Vickner said, Sir Kristen Cole is an insanely talented warrior, but like Sir Barristan told me, great knights don't always make good statesmen and should not have got involved in the politics. I mean, yeah, that's what they do with this joust, but I agree. No one should get involved in politics. No, I'm kidding. Get involved as much as you want. It's actually a really good thing. So Efren T said, I voted once for Kristen Cole in a previous tourney, and I can't do it anymore. Lord Simon Dondarrion, better singer and harpist, and won the tourney in Celebration Dragon Pit. Yeah, absolutely. Also, he was a singer. That's awesome. Oh, and then there was a little bit of an argument. Yeah, it was just about why people don't like Kristen Cole. So that's fine. I never actually read any of this, so I'll go back and look. Okay, cool. I don't care right now. Moving on. So that's all we got for that one. So let's get into Clement Crabbe versus Jamie Lannister. That's a joke. I said it wrong on purpose. Look it up. All right. And yeah, Clement Crabbe lost 19% versus Jamie's 81%. And yeah, E. Marty said, crab people. And then Melikor Darkfall, you're killing it, said, well, it may be debated. I want to name Glendon Ball as the one and true winner at 16. Yeah, Glendon Ball wasn't in here. I regret not putting Glendon Ball in here along with Uther Underleaf. They could have made it. It's kind of my fault. I should have had him in here. It was hard to get it down to just 16 jousters. If I ever do a jousting tourney again, both of them will be in it. Jousted without armor and won almost every tilt. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it says anywhere that that Glenn Ball never had armor. I think it was just in that final one. But no, I think he was even wearing armor there. So I'm not sure where they got this, but yeah, clearly not getting hit because it would have killed him without armor. And unhorsed Damon the second, even after being tortured all night. That's going to be Glenn Ball's biggest win. Is the fact that he was tortured all night, lost a bunch of fingernails, and he still beat somebody. But that's neither here nor there because Glenn Ball isn't in here. This is Clement Crab versus Jamie Lannister. So very different. Kevin Nutzling said both actually had jousting matches in their lives that parallel Ryan against Clement and Jamie against Jorah. Given that I'm going with Clement since Ryan is a far more legendary jouster than Jorah, and they broke 30 lances than as opposed to 9. Yeah, they had a really epic mini lance breaking match against legendary people, right? But Clement beat Ryan doing that. Well, Barristan beat Jorah, who is later on, but definitely not as renowned as a jouster as Ryan Redwine by any means. And yeah, so Jamie moves on, and then we got Denys Mallister versus Rhaegar Targaryen, who most likely is the favorite. I know Rhaegar doesn't do very good in our fighting tourneys, but got to do a lot better in the jousting tourneys. So yeah, so Denys was 20%, Rhaegar was 80%. E. Marty said Rhaegar probably wasn't any good, and Mallister was a real one. I kind of agree. I thought Denys was really great. Efren T says, I don't know if Denys Mallister ever won a tourney. Rhaegar defeated Sir Barristan at least twice and won the tourney at Harrenhal. So I commented on this just to spread knowledge. I said, we know Denys was a champion at 22 years old. We don't know what he did or who he beat to become that champion. But we do know that he once, maybe at that tournament, maybe at another tournament, once beat Alistair Florent and the father of Randall Tarley in the same tourney. We know that he was actually a really good jouster. He doesn't have any huge names under his belt. Like, we don't even know Randall Tarley's dad's name. Is he really great? Is Alistair Florent that great? Alistair Florent, though he's an important character in his own right, do we know that he's that good of a jouster? We don't know. But I really like the idea of, like, it. I don't know. There's an aura to Denys Mallister. There just is. I like Denys Mallister. He's that old dude who's been around forever, and he's seen some stuff, and he's been up at the wall, and he's in charge of the Shadow Tower. And when he meets or whatever, like, he beat both of Samwell Tarly's grandparents in the same tourney. That's like all we know. So maybe he's got a lot cooler wins under his belt. But yeah, Hawk McBride said it. Denys could probably take Pretty Boy Rhaegar. I agree. I voted for Denys. Irish Potato Thief said, you'll never catch me slipping in a chance to hate Rhaegar. That still didn't get enough. It was like, it still wasn't enough to flip this. Denys lost. All right, final one. We had Jorah Mormont versus Aemon the Dragon Knight. And my boy Jorah got the one and only Tucker. Oh,
you got knocked the fuck out.
That's shameful. Come on, man. I love Jorah Mormont. He gets a lot of hate on these tourneys. It's true. He just does. I'm not saying that it's not that he deserves to win everything, but he just kind of always loses really badly whenever I put him in a tourney. And he gets a lot of hate often. So yeah, it doesn't get so much hate. I got the comments right here. They're not like, Jorah, why is he even here? He sucks. Like they are for the fighting ones. So E. Marty says, I'm betting Jorah will win because he has my favor. Yeah, no, if what's her name? Was it Allison Hightower? Not Allison Hightower. Elise? There's a Lise at the end. That's all I know of. It's not. I don't always have things at the top of my dome, but yeah, his Hightower soon-to-be bride gave him the favor, and he just pounded, took out everybody, man. He took out like Lyle Craig Hall. He took out freaking Jamie Lannister. He took out so many people at that joust. Hostine Frey, I even think. All right, so yeah, you just got to give him a favor. Kevin Nutzling said Aemon was a legendary jouster and would often defend his sister's honors from his brother's lickspittles. Yeah, I almost put him in here as the Knight of Tears because that was the mystery knight that he actually got his jousting win under. was not by himself, but as the Mystery Knight of Night of Tears. I almost put him in as that because that's the persona, if you will, that got the tourney wins. Jorah tied with Jaime in the tournament after the Ironborn Rebellion, but I don't think he can match Aemon. So then I forgot my name set. I'm unfamiliar with Dragon Knight's exact jousting record, so I'm gonna go with the bear on this one. So yeah. There we guys go. So we're looking at round 2. It's already going on right now. I do have Rhyme Redwine versus Bears and Selmy happening as we speak. That came out this morning. And then, yeah, it looks like we got Loras Tyrell versus Arthur Dayne. That's going to be great. I really don't want Arthur to win this tourney. Kirsten Cole versus Jaime Lannister. And then Rhaegar Targaryen versus Aemon the Dragon Knight. So 2 Targaryens there. And if you squint, you can see something. Only Knights of the Kingsguard made it into round 2. Only. Oh, and a Targaryen prince. But that's it. Rhaegar Targaryen is the only not Kingsguard member in here. That's it. I call shenanigans. I call shenanigans. It's the Kingsguard lobby paid this one out. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Click like, subscribe, follow the tourney, share it. Anyone who's interested might want to watch it. So, yeah. Thank you. Peace.